the role voluntarily. This is sort of extraordinary stuff. I don't know whether Henry Bolton's ever read the kind of the rule book on what should happen in these matters. If he stays, the party will then have to hold an emergency meeting of members in the next month to try and force him out. This, of course, all comes around after his partner, 25-year-old amateur model, more than half his age, and of course that's relevant to the tabloid press. She gets collared sending a bunch of racist text. He's kind of implicated in his choice of partner, called in the week a serial love rat. It's just what they call not a good look. And of course this all prompted UKIP's NEC today to decide on a no-confidence vote on his leadership. It was supported by all present other than Mr Bolton, as you might expect. A statement from the party chairman, Paul Oakden, said the NEC meeting heard a statement from Bolton, after which members asked a number of questions pertaining to that coverage. It said at the conclusion of that discussion, the committee took the decision to hold a vote of no confidence in the leadership of Henry Bolton. The vote was carried unanimously, with the exception of the leader. 0345 6060 973. So the wider question of whether you think the United Kingdom needs a party, a political presence like UKIP. I'm really in favour of a spectrum of representation on our political parties, whether it's on the left, on the right, somewhere in the middle, or between all of those things. I think it's rather healthy to have all of those varied voices around. So do you think, even if these are your idea of your worst nightmare, it doesn't matter, in democratic terms, do we still need UKIP? And if you're a UKIP supporter, what is your sense on the party? You know, it's widely reckoned that UKIP hoovered up a lot of votes from the Conservatives. They also hoovered up a lot of votes from Labour as well. And for many people, they just discovered what they felt was a breath of fresh air in UKIP and hadn't previously voted for either of the other parties. Regardless of where you are on all of that, where do you sit today? 0345 6060 973. Let's speak with Gerard Batten. Gerard is UKIP MEP for London and has also said publicly he's prepared to take charge of the party in the short term. Gerard Batten, good evening.
Hello, Ian. Good evening.
Well, obvious question to start with is the one I put out at the beginning, Gerard. Is UKIP ultimately finished?
I think we're now facing the greatest challenge of our history, and I find Henry Bolton's decision today absolutely unbelievable. He had a unanimous vote by the NEC for him to go. I heard from our head office last week that the emails coming in from our own members were about 90% against him, and I suspect that's rather gone up in the events of the last couple of days. I just can't understand why he's hanging on. His arguments are that it would distract from the local elections. Well, if he stays, there won't be any candidates in that local elections because our people are dropping out. So they're saying they're wasting their time. You can't go onto a doorstep and talk to people in the street when they say the leader's girlfriend has been making racist remarks about Prince Harry's girlfriend or his fiancée. And he's also said an EGM will destroy the party. Well, he's destroying the party by not stepping down. I spoke to the party treasurer yesterday, who says if we have to, then we can afford an EGM. And in fact, the donors may well come forward to actually finance that because they want to get rid of him. Our donors, our activists, our members are walking away, and the branches are disintegrating precisely because he cannot have support. Now, we all, most of us anyway, supported him because we felt that, well, you know, it was a pretty bad story to start with, what actually went on over Christmas. And this is all developed over a space of 3 weeks. But we felt, well, his private life. There's two sides to a marriage story, so we'll support him as the leader. And then, of course, we have more horrific things coming out, whether they be true or not, I don't know. They're alleged. But I think the big thing was his inability to actually manage this as a PR disaster. And instead of closing it down and saying, well, I'm not going out there anymore, and I'm not going to talk about it, we're just going to talk about policy, he then waxes lyrical in every in every interview he gets, and just rakes the whole thing up. And it's been going on and on and on. And he's just shown, I'm very sorry that I have to say it, he's just shown that he just doesn't have what it takes to be in that position.
And then he's photographed just a couple of days later on a tube and a railway platform and having a beer in a hotel. Indeed, in the Liberal Club, of course. I mean, this fella must have extraordinary thick skin, Gerard. I mean, there he was in front of all of you guys of the NEC, and
I wasn't there, so I'm not on the...
Well, the guys of the committee, and happily, face to face, says, "No, I'm not going," despite the vote to say he should. Yeah,
I mean, I just can't understand whether he just doesn't get it, or whether we're being collapsed from within, because there is nothing, as you were talking about our future, well, there's nothing the establishment and the other political parties would like more than for us to disappear. We're still actually not doing too badly in the polls. I think it was about 6.5%. I've got lots of people who actually, I know, who want to get involved in UKIP, provided we get on an even keel, because there is a massive market out there for what we stand for and what we believe in. The voters in the election coming up, whenever it may be, are going to have a choice between Mrs May, who doesn't really want to leave the EU and can't even now bear to say she'd vote to leave if there was another referendum, a Tory party that doesn't want to leave, and Mr Corbyn's extreme Marxist momentum candidates who have been put in place now. So that's the choice that they're going to have, unless there is something else that they can vote for.
But why would they need a UKIP anymore? I mean, your job is done, isn't it?
No. First of all, we were founded on the basis of leaving the European Union. That's perfectly true. And it's perfectly true that our electoral threat forced Cameron to promise that referendum and give the referendum. And then, much to his and the establishment's surprise, we actually won it. But nothing has actually been done in the last 19 months. We're no closer to leaving than we ever were. All we get is the government ministers turning up to Brussels and saying, "Oh, please, Mr Juncker, Mr Barnier, how may we leave? How much are you going to charge us? How many of your laws do we have to obey? And please tell us what other onerous, impositions you'd like."
Well, that's a negotiating process, isn't it? That's meant to happen.
Well, if you are negotiating with people that don't want to negotiate with you and asking them how you can leave, then of course they're not going to give you this mythical good deal, are they? They've got a completely the wrong approach, which I've said on your programme, many programmes over the months. You leave, you tell them how you're leaving, how it's going to work, and how we're going to cooperate with them. Actually, we're in an extremely strong position. Everything's been... One thing that people want to take a step back and think about this, all of these things about trade and good deals and all the rest of it, they are being dictated by a political agenda to create a united single European political state, which is what the EU is about. They've got nothing to do with trade, friendship and cooperation between nations, which is something we do on a daily basis with other countries of the world. You can travel to many parts of the world with visa-free access. We have we have very low tariffs or zero tariffs on trade on most things because of the WTO. And Britain's a member of about 100 different organisations that participate in international agreements, and we cooperate. We're being dictated to by a political organisation because they don't want us to leave, because it actually damages their political ambitions, which is to create a United States of Europe. And we're allowing ourselves to be suckered into this mindset that somehow we have to go along with their agenda, and we can't exist in the modern world, which is complete nonsense.
You say the United States of Europe, this sort of global cartel or partial way to a globe. It's all a bit David Icke, isn't it, Gerard, this?
Well, you should read up on the history of the EU, Ian. They've said this over years, over decades. And don't forget that the Lisbon Treaty was called the Constitution. And even Blair had to say to them, don't call it the Constitution, for God's sake, because you won't get it past the British. Now, you don't have a constitution unless you're talking about a political state. So don't take my word for it. Read up on what's happened in the last 45 years.
Okay.
Understand the development of the whole thing. It's about a centralised political state. Now, I actually respect the view of people who want to do that if they're honest about it and can explain why they think it's a good idea. I don't think it's a good idea. But they've got that point of view, and I feel more comfortable in the European Parliament talking to MEPs who actually believe that than our lot, Labour, Tories, and the one Lib Dem we've got left, who are actually pretending it isn't happened or it's not intended, because it is, and it's obvious to anybody that has eyes to see and ears to hear.
Just a final point then, Gerard Batten, back to your current leader, because he is still your current leader, Henry Bolton.
Yeah.
What happens now then? What's the order of events?
He could see sense. I mean, I've this evening, after the meeting, texted him and said, I'm now resigning as your Brexit spokesman. I will continue to serve the members of UKIP, and urged him to do the sensible thing and actually resign and walk away. If he does that, we can then whether it's me or somebody else, they can put in an interim leader. We can get past the local elections in the beginning of May, and then we can have a leadership election and give people, time to come forward for that. If he insists on staying, then there will be an extraordinary general meeting. It'll take 28 days at least to organise. Probably we're going to get lots of candidates who won't bother to fight because of the disruption. So he's actually having the opposite effect from what he's talking about and saying why he won't resign. Anybody in politics, if you haven't got the support of your own side, you've got to walk away. Now, everybody admires strength and resolve in politics, and you mustn't give up too easily. But if you haven't got the strength of your own side, you've got to walk away. I just went to the cinema this evening and saw The Darkest Hour, and the whole of that film is about the uncertainty of 1940 until it gets to the speech at the end of the film in the Commons where Churchill gets everybody on his side that they're going to fight on the landing grounds and all the rest of it. Now, if he couldn't have got those MPs on his side from both sides of the House, then he would have had to walk away. Henry Bolton hasn't got anybody on his side that I can tell, and he's refusing to walk away.
You will stand as an interim leader. Does that mean you're interested in the job full-time, Gerard?
I have no personal ambitions, and I was very much looking forward after the referendum to retiring and having a peaceful retirement. I don't know what I'm going to do now because I've got to think about this and make up my mind tomorrow or soon, because I was quite happy to step in on an interim basis, get the party on an even keel, do some of the right things that need to be done. But now we're in a completely different ball game now. Who's going to lead it going forward? And I don't see anybody on the immediate horizon that I would back as leader.
Gerard Batten, thank you, sir. UKIP MEP for London, with very little in the positive to say about his current leader, Henry Bolton. He resigned, he said this evening, as Henry Bolton's Brexit spokesman. Thoughts on this? I'm still scratching my head as to what the point of UKIP would be, based on everything that's happened. Why do you actually need the party? Unless you sense there is still a good democratic reason for them to have their toe in the waters on this one. 0345 6060 973.
Last time on the Nigel Farage Show.
I'm asking, is Trump a success or a failure? Aaron, who's calling from Kensington.
It's an honour to speak with you, sir, and I think it's a very good question you asked.
Yes.
And the answer is he's an abject failure.
Aaron,
but thank you, sir, for your time.
No, you couldn't have put it more clearly, and that's what free speech and debate at LBC, living in a democratic country, is all about.
5 days of Farage. Monday to Thursday evenings from 7 and Sunday mornings from 10. The Nigel Farage Show. Only on LBC.
At PlusNet, we say let's hear it for small businesses, the micros that think mega, run by work all day, worry all night warriors. No home life, no love life, no lunch hours or happy hours, only long hours. Our super fast business broadband is for you. Reliable, affordable, with support anytime you need it. Christmas Day, New Year's Day, May Day, May night, whenever, because you guys, you're the future. You make us proud, and you know what? Here at PlusNet, we'll do you proud.
Save £106 on the Samsung Galaxy S7 with unlimited minutes, text and 1 gig of data for only £28 a month plus £10 up front. The Vodafone Big Winter Sale, in store and online. The future is exciting. Ready? Vodafone.
24-month agreement. Credit check and RPI increase apply. See vodafone.co.uk/terms. Standard UK landline and mobile minutes. Ends 31st of Jan.
You could make the main dealer's day by paying over the odds. Or you could go to Big Motoring World and save a fortune on up to 2,000 pre-owned BMWs, Mercedes, Audis and VWs in stock. Then with the money you saved, put a smile on your face with a cheeky weekend away for two. Give yourself a break at Big Motoring World, just minutes from the M25. See bigmotoringworld.co.uk.
At Ryanair, we understand real value for money. You can fly from as little as £9.99 to over 200 destinations and enjoy great booking and in-flight experience. Discover why we're Europe's #1 airline. Book today on Ryanair.com from £9.99 one way. Ryanair. Low fares made simple. Limited availability. See Ryanair.com.
Do you have the papers?
Not yet.
From director Steven Spielberg.
The White House has been lying about the Vietnam War for 30 years.
I'm talking about exposing years of government secrets.
Meaning?
We could all go to prison.
Based on true events, critics are calling The Post One of the best films ever made. Unmissable. 5 stars.
If we don't publish, the country will lose.
Meryl Streep and Tom Hanks on screen together for the first time.
The way they lied, those days have to be over.
The Post, in cinemas now.
Fly from London City Airport to Dublin from £39 one way with CityJet's January flight sale. And seat selection, a checked bag and drinks and snacks are included in that incredible CityJet fare at no extra cost. So you can appreciate yourself as much as we at CityJet appreciate you. CityJet. Be appreciated. Terms and conditions apply.
David's hot or not chicken curry.
On our very first date, my wife Maria said she loved spicy food. That's lucky, I said. I love it too. But the truth is I don't. Never have. So, whenever I cook her favourite curry, chicken Gujarati with green beans and fresh ginger, I add a spoonful of natural yoghurt in mine, and I keep stum.
Make your own hot or not curry with our tender, succulent British chicken. Food love stories, brought to you by Tesco.
Late Nights with Ian Collins on LBC.
Leading Britain's conversation, 0345 6060 973, responding to the UKIP story and in particular the Henry Bolton non-resignation. I certainly thought this is a man who, certainly from all the analysis we've done of Henry Bolton, former military man, he's fairly level-headed, knows his stuff, gets on with it, logical, calm within a storm, all the rest of it. And then, of course, the sort of femme fatale thing, which many of you are using that very expression. I don't think it's over-cynical to perhaps throw that into the mix on this one. It does appear that, and he's very angry. He's clearly very, very angry. He's angry that he's been forced into this position when he doesn't sense he's done anything wrong, and that's so often the case. There's 2 questions here. There's the question to UKIP members or UKIP supporters, whether you're diehard or whether you're kind of loose around the edges in the sense of, you understand what they're about. But the wider question, from your perspective, how do you feel about what has happened today? The leader that won't go, despite the fact his own national executive telling him to go. How bad does it have to get before this man quits? 0345 6060 973. I think there's the wider question, though, just about the democratic system we have in this country. Is it still useful to have a kind of UKIP sort of party knocking around, the Gerard Battens? They don't always enamour everybody into the debate, but is there something about having that contingent, that element, if you like, of political thought or political opinion, political colour, still on the stage, having part of the discussion? Luigi is in Cambridge. What are your thoughts, Luigi?
Hi.
Hi.
I think the whole, the way that UKIP has gone about this is just awful. What a lot of people don't realise is I used to be a member of UKIP and I also used to be the Youth Wing's Eastern chairman. And the way things are run internally within the party are just shockingly bad. And the idea that if you look at the way that people have stitched Henry Bolton up here, and ever since the moment he was elected and people didn't like the result, they just moaned about it, and now they're looking to have a 4th leadership contest in 18 months, which is just embarrassing for the party. It's humiliating for them. And what I find quite funny is they seem to think that, everyone cares about this Henry Bolton scandal. From what I gather, is no one really noticed, because UKIP's poll, Gerald Batten there was wrong. It's not 6.5% poll ratings. There was a poll that came out today which showed them on 3%. So they are literally at rock bottom. And for them, they just need a strong leader. And Henry Bolton is the only viable candidate at the moment, regardless of...
So you think Henry Bolton should stay, Luigi?
Absolutely. I mean, Gerald Batten, I disagree with 99% of what he said, apart from the fact he said, I can see no obvious replacement. And that's the whole point.
But surely this man is damaged goods.
I mean,
I'm talking about Henry Bolton here, of course.
I think...
I mean, it's an irredeemable mess for Henry Bolton.
Well, I would agree with you there if UKIP were in contention to win parliamentary seats. I would disagree now because UKIP are nowhere near that level. Henry Bolton, UKIP needs some stability for a while. And if people don't, there's never going to be stability within UKIP because that's an internal crisis. I mean, you look at the leadership election when Henry was elected, and you saw people backing Anne-Marie Waters, for God's sake. There's a far-right, absolute no-go zone. So there's always going to be discontent within the party. And as far as I'm concerned, as long as Nigel's not around, no one's going to like the leader.
But he stitched himself up, though, didn't he?
I mean, did he help himself? No, of course didn't. But it was... I think UKIP have really overplayed this because, yes, there was one scandal. What his girlfriend.
But first, he looks like an old fool for a start, doesn't he? 55-year-old fella knocking around with a 25-year-old. Nothing illegal about that. Ordinary circumstances. You might say good luck if you're having some fun. But this is a guy that's talking about being, in love. He's found the love of his life, and of course, it's the umpteenth time he's left one partner for another. So it's not a good look in that respect, Luigi. And then, of course, we discover that she's, a little, shall we say, unsavoury when it comes to the kind of thing she says to her friends in texts.
I completely agree with you there in the sense that, what she said was completely unacceptable. But let's not remember, I mean, I love Nigel Farage, but remember, he had a 7-year affair, and of course the press didn't seem to mind, or the party didn't seem to mind. So when people talk about British values and how he's disrespecting...
But I don't think he's being attacked for just having an affair. It's the whole look of the thing. There is a sense of, the old fool stung by the femme fatale and all the... I mean, some of that might be nonsense. I understand that there's tabloid mischief here on these things. But there is, if you were to say, let's go into Paddy Power and put a bet on whether Henry and his girlfriend will be together in 10 years, we all know what odds you get on that.
Yeah, no, I do agree there. And, I'm not going to defend the way Henry's gone about things, but all I can say is, what's the alternative? Is it Anne-Marie Waters? I mean, there's never going to be a valid alternative for UKIP. I mean, Gerard Batten said himself, there's no viable leader now, and it's actually just getting embarrassing. So I say either they need to rapidly reform under the same leader and not replace them every 10 seconds, or just quit and try and back Theresa May as strongly as they can.
All right, Luigi. Strong stuff. Thank you, sir, for starting us off. A former member of UKIP thinks it's an absolute mess, but he's horrified at the treatment of Henry Bolton. Patrick says, remember Teflon Tony will enter Bostic Bolton, glued firm to his post, however hard his party members try to prise him off. I mean, that would be the point, wouldn't it? Regardless of the bad look of the young girlfriend. And let's remember, there have been some headlines about her prior to the racist texts. But then the racist text, and that, of course, calls into question his judgment. He then does the rounds on the radio and TV circuit. He speaks to LBC, speaks to Nick in the morning. No, it's all over. Nothing to see here, governor, end of, etc. And then less than 48 hours later, he's photographed on the tube, at a club, having a beer, at a railway platform. Man alive. I mean, is the man utterly stupid? Is he just a little bit soft in that respect? And then from there, his NEC, while he's sitting there, say, we don't want you, mate. Everybody vote. They all stick their hand up saying no confidence. The only person that doesn't put their hand up, surprise, surprise, is Henry Bolton himself. He still remains. I mean, I've heard of thick skin. This fella's got a PhD in it. 0345 6060 973. The wider issue as to whether we need UKIP, bearing in mind what's happening with EU and the negotiations. Do we still need those voices, like the Gerard Battens of this world, the various characters that we hear on LBC and elsewhere, who still speak on behalf of that? Is that voice still needed in this debate? If you see UKIP very much as the kind of one policy party, are they still required on the EU debating stage? 0345 6060 973. More of your calls and comments on the way. Don't go away. Russell and Phil, Keith, Duncan and others with you guys in a few moments' time. It's 10:30. Let's get the latest news headlines from Amelia Cox.
UKIP members will decide the fate of leader Henry Bolton in a meeting next month after he lost a vote of no confidence. Mr Bolton has faced repeated calls to step down following offensive messages about Meghan Markle sent by his now former partner, Joe Marnie. The Crown Prosecution Service has decided not to pursue a common assault charge against a Met police officer following the death of Rashan Charles last July. The 20-year-old died, having earlier been chased into a shop by police and at least one member of the public in Dalston in East London. At least 18 people have been killed after the Taliban attacked a hotel in Afghanistan's capital, Kabul. It's understood the 12-hour siege ended with all gunmen dead. LBC weather: rain, sleet and snow should clear to leave a dry and cloudy night for most. Heavy rain in the southwest by the early hours of Monday, a low of 1 degree.
This is LBC.
At British Gas, we have everything you need for when winter does its worst. Our home care boiler cover starts from just £12 a month. That's less than 40p a day and includes a yearly service. Plus, we're giving you up to £100 to treat yourself when you buy selected home care products online by the 28th of February. So why wait? Search British Gas Home Care. Terms and conditions apply.
Even if you only employ one person, you have to provide a workplace pension. It's the law. Get to know your responsibilities with help from the Pensions Regulator. Visit workplacepensions.gov.uk.
Fly from London City Airport to Florence from £59 one way with CityJet's January flight sale. And seat selection, a checked bag and drinks and snacks are included in that incredible CityJet fare at no extra cost. So you can appreciate yourself as much as we at CityJet appreciate you. CityJet. Be appreciated. Terms and conditions apply.
You can take off, fly and land a Boeing 737 from just about any airport in the world. 100. Without even leaving the city 30. At Flight Experience London. An officially licensed Boeing product. It's the ultimate flight simulator used for real pilot training. Our amazing sale is now on with prices from just £99. Book online at london.flightexperience.com for the ultimate gift and take to the sky at Flight Experience London.
Don't be down. See, things are looking up. There's an upbeat upside to 2018 already. Just step up to the Renault Upgrade event. Upgrade your old car and get up to an additional £2,000 towards a Renault Kadjar, all-new Koleos or new Captur. It's up to you. Just order your upgrade by the 31st of March 2018. Visit renault.co.uk/upgrade to find out more. Vehicles must be registered by the 31st of March 2018, subject to status, T's and C's apply, 18+. Retail customers only, participating dealers only.
The best place for sleepyheads is in a Bridge bedding bed.
The January sale at Bridge Bedding is now on. Beds and mattresses from the biggest, best-known brands in the UK and will beat any price on a like-for-like basis. Before you buy your next new bed, visit a Bridge Bedding Centre, Leigh-on-Sea, Hornchurch or online at bridgebedding.com and find out about our free delivery and next-day delivery options.
The best place for sleepyheads is in a Bridge bedding bed.
Save up to a cool £400 in the BT January sale. Get super fast Infinity with our Smart Hub, awarded Best Buy Router by Which, and get great deals on TV and mobile. But get your skates on. The BT January sale ends Wednesday the 31st. Search BT Broadband to join BT today.
Saving over 18 months with unlimited BT Infinity, BT TV Max and selected 6GB handset deals with £5 monthly broadband discount.
Landlords, Direct Line guarantees to beat other insurers' renewal premiums for the same cover. Can your insurance do that? Switch to Direct Line Landlord. New customers only. Qualifying criteria apply. Underwritten by UK Insurance Limited.
Late Nights with Ian Collins on LBC.
This in from Julian, who says Bolton had to go. The public hate a cad. That's the word, isn't it? Nail on the head there, Julian. It's the cad sense of the whole thing. The way he's behaved towards his family has been bad. He, along with his girlfriend, has become a liability to his party. There is a space in British politics for a strong anti-EU centrist party. The Lib Dems don't cut it. A party should be formed to take over the centre of politics. This must be a strong party with good policies. Politics is crying out for a real leader with charisma and great ideals, says Julian. Well, of course, many would argue that that's exactly what Corbyn has right now. When you delve into the headlines of some of the claims from the Labour Party, his critics would say none of it stands up to scrutiny, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, the word charisma, I think you can reasonably apply to Jeremy Corbyn. It doesn't matter whether you like him or not. I mean, you could apply it to Tony Blair. I never got Tony Blair, by the way, but you could still apply that kind of charismatic label to him. He hung on there for, he voted in 3 terms on the trot. Don't go away, Duncan. Keith is in Felixstowe. What's happening, Keith? What are your thoughts? UKIP, are they done for?
Absolutely not. I think the NEC's made a big mistake, actually, today. I think they've done
a serious disservice both to the leader and to the party.
How could Henry Bolton have stayed?
What do you mean, how could he have stayed? He was elected leader 3 months ago.
Indeed, but when there is a tipping point, where there is a sense that he's brought himself and his party into disrepute...
Whose sense is that?
Well, clearly the NEC's sense, because they voted no confidence.
Certainly the press's sense.
Well, the press aren't the NEC, are they?
The NEC, or at least certain members of the NEC...
All of them?
...have been out for him since late December.
Well, all of them voted.
As soon as they were given an opportunity, they were straight in there. And it's not good enough. It's letting down the members. There are people on the NEC who are trying to subvert the party and the will of the membership.
For what reason? Why would they want to do that, Keith?
I've no idea, but they were disappointed losers in the leader elections. And
so you think that's what it's all about?
Well, partly, and also rank stupidity, frankly.
Or rank stupidity from Henry Bolton?
No, rank stupidity from someone in the NEC.
But can you not see...
No, I can't.
You see, you can't see how the Henry Bolton story plays out?
The Henry Bolton story should play out in any sensibly run party with the NEC backing the leader against...
Even if the leader sounds like a naive fool who makes very bad choices.
Against the forces of the people who want to do the party down and see the death of UKIP.
So even if the leader seems like a naive fool who makes very bad choices...
Well, you say that. What exactly bad choices has he made?
What bad choices has he made? Is that a serious question, Keith?
Yes, it is. It's an absolutely serious
Okay. Well, I don't want to go over all the headlines of the last week, but you might have caught...
Just give me one.
You might have caught the perhaps the biggest, which would be his choice of partner. And right. I think that's probably thrown up a fair question about whether this man is making correct choices, given the kind of thing we know about her.
What exactly is wrong with his choice of partner? I mean, it wouldn't personally have been my choice, but what is wrong with his choice of partner?
Well, OK, so if you don't see anything wrong with the text she wrote, then there's nothing wrong with his choice of partner in your mind.
Those were written before he met her and without his knowledge.
Right, but then but when they come out that, a few months ago the girl he's with had written this, I mean, we are talking very recent. Sorry?
He condemned them.
We had little choice. He couldn't exactly support them, Keith, could he? Couldn't exactly support them.
And nobody suggested he should support.
So you think the whole thing looks just fine? You think the whole thing looks just fine? 55-year-old guy dating a 25-year-old amateur model,
let me just put it to you. There's a bit of an age difference with President Macron and his wife. There's a bit of an age difference with the likes of Harrison Ford and his wife, Kirk Douglas, his wife.
I don't have any. Do you know what? I don't have any problem ordinarily with an age gap, and much of this is perhaps down just to a little bit of good old human instinct. He looks like a fool to me, Keith. He looks like a man who's been stung. He looks like a man who's blinded by the femme fatale qualities of a 25-year-old. He looks like a fella that's fallen down the gullible pit that so many before him have. That, to me, impedes his judgment.
True, but it's irrelevant in the context of politics.
Not really.
If you look at, it is. If you look at, who's had affairs? John Major, Edwina
It's not just about affairs. But that isn't. It's not a. But I'm not making a moral. I'm not making a moral judgment, Keith, on Henry Bolton.
Sure you are.
No, I'm not at all. I couldn't give a hoot who he sees and sleeps with. And the fact that he was accused of being a serial love rat last week, because this ain't the first time, is neither here nor there to me. The fact that the woman is over half his age and writes racist tweets and texts and a variety of other unsavoury accusations she has against it. All of that, I'm not making a moral judgment. I'm asking or wondering whether he is fit for high office. Because of those decisions.
What I'm saying to you is that it's the politics that matter and the ability to put the politics out in front of the country. He can do that extremely well. He is the only person, actually, in my opinion, who can do that.
But is NEC, who can't all be conspiracy theorists, Keith, as you're sort of alluding to. They can't all be disgruntled because of a vote.
No, there's only about 3 or 4.
But they all voted to out him.
That's correct, and I wasn't there, so I don't know any more than you do.
So they've all made a mistake and you haven't? in your judgment?
I think they haven't made a mistake, and I'll certainly be. I think they've made a mistake, and I'll certainly be back in Bolton, just as I did in September, which is only 3 months ago.
Okay.
He is the man for the job. The job concerned is leader of UKIP.
What do you think he's got? What gives him the qualities for the job, do you think? Management.
Ability to organise and motivate internally and to get the party...
Who is he motivating?
Fit. Well, he's motivating me, for a start.
Right.
Otherwise I wouldn't be ringing up, would I?
We might just be angry.
Well, I am angry, but that's a separate matter.
Okay. Keith, who should replace him if he does go?
There is nobody to replace him, which is why...
What, Henry Bolton is irreplaceable?
Yes, he is at this point.
Really?
To be frank, yes, really, honestly. Really. That is why the decision of the NEC today was completely stupid.
So there's no one out there that you could possibly think of within the entirety of UKIP that could do a better job as leader?
No, I have been to all the NEC, I've been to all the hustings in the last leadership elections, all of them. I've seen all of the candidates. You heard Gerard Batten a few minutes ago say he had no interest in the job.
Well,
there was nobody there.
Gerard Batten, Mike Hookham, there's a lot of people in your party that have got profiles. Why can't either of those guys run the game full time?
Because they don't want to do it, and Henry does.
Stephen Wolfe, there's another one. Stephen Wolfe.
Stephen Wolfe sits as an independent in the European Parliament. He had the opportunity...
Well, he does now because of the fallout, of course, but you don't think he could be bought... He can't come back into the fold?
He had the opportunity to run. He blew it. He then had some discussions with the Tories, or indeed, at the time, he was thinking about running for the leadership. He was also talking to the Tories. And then he got his forms in too late. Well, that's bad luck. And so he promptly went off and sits as an independent. He would have been, in other circumstances, quite a good leader, but clearly he's proved himself flawed as well. I'm incandescent about this, I have to say.
I can hear it, Keith. Why don't...
Have let the party down in a massive way.
Why don't you stand, Keith?
Well, that's a long story.
All right. Doesn't involve a 25-year-old, does it?
Not this time.
Keith, lovely to have you on, sir. Thank you. And you can hear the anger in Keith's voice. I'm full of admiration for the spirit that he and the passion he has behind what has gone on. We don't get fired up enough about our politics, and it's great that somebody of whatever party has that level of incandescence, as he put it himself, over the decision by the NEC to vote no confidence in Henry Bolton. He still believes he's got the right skills. He's the man for the job. His dalliance with a 25-year-old and the text thing that followed means diddly. The man's good at the job, in his words. Would you concur with that? Great call, though. 0345 6060 973.
This is LBC.
Why let the thought of your tax return peck away at you?
Tax.
Make them stop. Don't keep ducking it. Do your tax return by the 31st of January at gov.uk/self-assessment. And don't forget to pay what you owe.
Tax.
At UKME, our chauffeur service is 6-star. Just like the package we offer our drivers. Join the company that treats its drivers like VIPs. Apply today at ukme.co.uk.
PlusNet people can't help but help. Take Dave here. He's a cheery chap. He's helping Mrs H switch to a superfast fibre package.
You're very welcome, Mrs Henderson.
Maggie, she's setting up someone online with a SIM-only mobile plan. And Chris...
I find drying my hair upside down adds extra volume.
Well, he seems to be handing out good advice too. At PlusNet, people will go out of their way to help you. It's probably why they've bagged U-Switch's Best Provider for Customer Service Award for a 3rd year running. PlusNet will do you proud.
Shut the door on routine. Start something new. Power your adventure and unmap your life with the Jeep Renegade from £189 a month. With 5-star Euro NCAP safety rating, touchscreen, Bluetooth, sat-nav and legendary Jeep capability. Visit jeep.co.uk to begin your journey today. Personal contract hire. Jeep Renegade 1.4 longer tube manual. Initial rental of £1,134. 48-month term, 8,000 miles per annum until March 31st, 2018. Subject to status. Leases.
Get the Red Entertainment SIM plan with unlimited minutes and 8 gig of data. Plus choose Spotify Premium, Sky Sports Mobile TV or Now TV for only £18 a month. The Vodafone Big Winter Sale in store and online. The future is exciting. Ready for Vodafone.
12-month agreement. Credit check and RPI increase apply. See